Oh man, this is going to be a fun one. Let's do a deep dive on new Packers wide receiver slash running back slash gadget. Honestly, just put this guy anywhere, any position on the offense. Savion Williams, the Packers' third-round draft selection out of TCU in this 2025 draft. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. With the pre-draft process, if you watched my videos, I wasn't a huge fan of Savion Williams. I thought teams would overdraft him due to the potential in the second round, and if the Packers were to do so, I thought that would be their earliest wide receiver drafted. But when you pair him with Matthew Golden, it just gets that much more intriguing and exciting because the Packers got their prototypical X wide receiver on the outside that can win deep, that could become a true number one in this draft class, and then double dipped in the third round with Savion Williams. And don't get me wrong, he definitely has concerns, right? Limited route tree, not a great run blocker, has a drop issue. I get that. But now after watching the film and taking a deep dive into what Savion Williams is as a player and what he can bring to this Packers offense and what Matt LaFleurs is going to be able to do with this guy, man, it's beyond exciting. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. We're doing a deep dive on Savion Williams, wide receiver out of TCU, the Packers' third-round draft selection. First, we'll go over all of his stats, his measurables. Then, of course, we'll look at the tape. I have a bunch of different clips from not only some wide receiver film, but some running film, running out of the backfield, jet touch passes, those sort of things. You know, what Matt LaFleur loves to do with his wide receivers. This is my third deep dive in the series. First, we went over Matthew Golden, their first wide receiver taken in this draft class. Then last week, we went over Colin Oliver, their second edge rusher taken in this draft class. Now Savion Williams. Let me know down in the comments below what player you'd want me to do a deep dive on next. Make sure to go check out those videos if you haven't already. And make sure to click subscribe if you're a new Packers fan viewing this channel. You won't regret it. You'll stay in the loop with everything Packers, get news analysis, update, and in-depth content such as this. You'll find it all here on this channel. I'd highly suggest clicking subscribe. So without further ado, let's dive down into it. And Savion Williams, their third-round draft selection. Honestly, this is such a luxury draft pick by the Packers. You know, Matthew Golden, Anthony Belton round 1 and 2. It made a lot of sense, although the Anthony Belton was still kind of a Packers-y pick. To me, Savion Williams was a complete luxury pick in round 3. And this is a guy that, you know, with polish, has first-round talent. Right? I love getting him in the third round. I think that's good value for what he is and what he can transcend into. And it's not a crazy risk, right? So first, let's dive down into his measurables. So Savion Williams is so intriguing because when you look at his profile and you see 6'3", almost 6'4", 222 pounds, you would think tall, outside, possession, wide receiver, go up and make contested catches, which is definitely what he can do. But man, this guy has so much lateral quickness, and I don't really recall seeing a receiver with this frame, you know, height and weight, with this amount of lateral quickness. The only couple I can recall, the main comparison that you probably have heard is Cordarrelle Patterson. Deebo Samuel, kind of, but he's also only 6 foot. So, you know, you see also he ran a 4.48 40 with a good 20-yard split, a great 10-yard split. He has 32.5-inch arms, massive hands at 10.25-inch hand size. Didn't test in terms of agility or explosion, so we don't have anything there, but I'm sure he would have tested well, especially agility with the way you see him move on the field, and I'm sure he has a pretty good vertical as well. So now taking a look at Savion Williams' stats and his PFF profile, we can see the last 3 years receiving, and don't worry, we'll look at his running stats as well because he was also used a lot as a runner in this TCU offense. 23 years old, of course, again, drafted in that third round at pick 87. If we look at his grades from 2024, he graded out overall at 78.9 with a receiving grade of 70.2. He had 2.1 yards per route run, and then you get into the crazies, right? 88.9 contested catch rate is absolutely insane. And to pair with it, an 11.8 drop rate. Not great. And we know the Packers struggled with drops last year. And that's kind of why I was saying before the draft, if this is your first wide receiver taken, I'm not that happy about it because we already have issues with drops, but now you have Matthew Golden, you have Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks. Savion Williams doesn't necessarily need to step up year one and become a starting wide receiver. they can use him in so many different ways and really make it easy. Play to his strengths, right? I think a perfect scheme for Savion Williams is the Matt LaFleur offense. We see he had 8 drops in 2024. It's got to be cleaned up for sure. In terms of missed tackles force, he had 18. This guy makes a lot of people miss, tied for 32nd of wide receivers. He had 3 deep catches for 114 yards. He had 19 screen catches, so utilized in the RPO game, the screen game a lot because he's great yards after the catch. He makes people miss. So you can throw him a bubble screen and he could turn that into a 30, 40-yard gain. And then also we see he played a little bit of slot the past 3 years, very, very little, but mainly an outside guy. You see majority outside wide snaps, but he's also taken a lot of snaps in the backfield, different roles in terms of that. You can really move him everywhere. This past season, 60 receptions on 83 targets for 611 yards and 6 touchdowns. The season before that, 573 yards and 4 touchdowns. The season before that, in 2022, 392 yards and 4 touchdowns. You can see here, he's a 5-year player out of TCU. You can see those same exact snaps and grades over the past 3 seasons. But when you switch it to running of the football, this 2024 season, he was utilized a lot in the running game, whether that's end arounds, handoffs out of the backfield, or simply taking the snap as the quarterback, running a wildcat style offense, which I'm very interested to see if the Packers implement that at all. He had 51 run attempts this last season for 322 yards, a 6.3 average, 6 touchdowns, and a 90.5 run grade. He had 215 of those yards out of 322 after contact, which is unreal. Even in 2023, he saw some running, snaps there, some running attempts, 11 attempts, 62 yards, 5.6 average, but mainly in 2024 is where they started to utilize him doing those type of things. So you kind of understand the picture. Savion Williams is a guy that can win on the outside, can make contested catches, can go up and win a contested ball in the end zone, which I have a clip of a couple, which just unreal. But he's a guy that you can use out of the backfield. You can run jet touch passes. A lot of the things they liked to do with Jayden Reed, where I think they're going to maybe try to focus more just Jayden Reed, play slot, be our separator, be our guy on third down that Jordan Love's going to trust. Now we have Savion Williams to come into this offense and do the backfield work, do the end arounds, the jet touch passes. And he's simply a better runner with the ball in his hands than Jayden Reed. So now let's dive down into the tape. And I'm actually going to start with the running film that I have. Savion Williams either taking the snap out of the backfield as the quarterback or taking a jet touch pass. And I'm very interested to see if Matt LaFleur, again, implements him in this way. As you can see here, Savion Williams lined up pretty much as the quarterback. It's a wildcat type of play, just power run to the right side. And again, you can just see the lateral quickness and his ability to break tackles. Absolutely unreal. Now, again, this is college, a lot of non-NFL defenders here, poor tackle attempts, but you cannot deny the ability of Savion Williams with the ball in his hands there, even the peace sign while running to the end zone. A guy that's 6'4", 222 pounds should not be able to move this well laterally. It just simply shouldn't happen. And when I told you about those yards after contact in terms of running, this is it right here. This is what he did on a lot of these plays, absolutely destroying defenses when they know it's coming. Savion Williams is taking the snap as the quarterback. He's not going to throw it. I don't even know if he has any pass attempts in his career. Quickly wanted to stop myself there because he actually does have a passing attempt, and not only that, a touchdown out of the same exact formation, the same exact play, with a little touch pass over the top here for a touchdown. So, like I said, put him anywhere. He can do it all. The defense knows it's a run, and he still torches them for a long touchdown here. That spin move, absolutely insane for a touchdown. Here's another example of it, what it could line up as pre-snap. Say you have Jordan Love in at quarterback, Savion Williams out wide left. Do a simple motion, so you're not just lining it up out of the huddle where the defense has time to prepare. And then you motion Savion right into the quarterback position. You have your quarterback move to running back right to the left. You have Savion take the direct snap here after a motion and run a power option to the right, a speed option to the right, and have a running back. Maybe that's Josh Jacobs, or even that's Jaden Reed in the backfield, and he has the ability to pitch it out to him. And there is some clips, I don't have them today, but I've seen it while watching the film. He can pitch the football. They did a couple hook and ladders and stuff. He has pitched the football and he can do it. He does a fake pitch here, and it doesn't go for much, but I'm more so just showing you just a couple yards here. I'm just showing you how it could be set up if you're the Green Bay Packers and you're Matt LaFleur. You don't have to come out of the huddle and show Wildcat from the start. You can come out in a normal set with Savion out wide and then just quickly switch it. Motion him in, put Jordan Love to the left, motion him out. And you could even play with this if Savion can throw like a double pass to Jordan Love. I know this is sounding like Madden at this point, but it can be done. It has been done. I've seen it at the NFL level. I've seen it at the college level. So now it gives you just a little bit more versatility in terms of what you can do with a gadget player in Savion Williams. And again, it doesn't go for much, but it's just the idea here. Here's a more traditional run from a wide receiver. Now, it's considered a catch because it's a forward pass. It's a jet touch pass, but the Packers liked to do this a lot with Jaden Reed, even Christian Watson. Now they have Savion Williams, who's better with the ball in his hands than both of those guys. And we see a simple jet touch pass here. Great blocking, great field ball carrier vision, and that burst to the outside and then lowers the shoulder at the end of this run. One thing about him is he does not shy away from contact at all. Savion Williams loves contact. It's not something he's just going to run out of bounds and take his gain. No. He's going to make it known that he is a ferocious runner with the ball in his hands, and he's going to make you miss, and he's going to break tackles consistently and gain extra yards after contact consistently. Tremendous blocking here by this offense. Nice setup play. He looks like a seasoned running back with the ball in his hands here. Maybe you'd like to see him switch the ball to the outside, so in case a fumble happens, the ball likely goes out of bounds. But in terms of ball carrier vision, getting skinny in between blockers, then bursting through that gap up the sideline, beating that defender, and then lowering his shoulder on the sideline to just knock that guy down, looks like a running back with the ball in his hands. All right, so now that we looked at what Savion can do with the ball in his hands and how Matt LaFleur is going to be able to potentially use him in the offense, now let's look at Savion as a traditional wide receiver, a guy on the outside that can, run your post routes, run deep routes, deep stops, 9 route, and go up and win contested catches. Now, again, he does have a drop issue. This is something that's got to get cleaned up for sure. It's more so concentration drops. Like, this is a guy that in double coverage will go up and snag a ball out of the air, but wide open on a quick curl will end up dropping it. So that can get cleaned up for sure. What you can't teach is the ability to go up and snag a ball against 2 defenders contested, which is things that he can do. Here's a simple post route from the outside. We have a motion receiver. Savion attacks the outside of this outside shade. I believe cover 2 or cover 4 cornerback there. It is cover 2. He's going to then threaten to the outside hashes to kind of move this safety and then break inside on this post route. The cornerback does track him here. It's a little bit of a behind throw, but he does a good job at least setting his hands up for this catch, but he still kind of ends up body catching this thing. You want to see him, really snag this down with his hands high and tight and then bring it in. And that's where I think a lot of his drop issues stem from, is he needs to get better with hands catching rather than body catching in some instances like this one. Still comes down with it. And then again, you see the yards after the catch. He's always going to fight for extra yards here, right? Right when he gets contacted, he's at the 26-yard line, fighting, ends up at the 33-yard line there. So that's a lot of added yardage after contact. Just from a simple post route here, he's going to fight through contact, look at all the defenders around him, and gain extra yards. Here's another example of fighting through contact and gaining extra yards. We have Savion at the top of the screen. He's going to run a simple crosser route underneath the linebackers, kind of a mesh concept here. We have 2 receivers crossing to kind of muddy up the middle, except there's really no defenders there, and Savion ends up wide open underneath here with a catch right there. This is traditionally a play where this receiver is going down right away. He's catching the ball and he's going down right away. But Savion has extreme athleticism, flexibility, and balance to be able to stay up from that hit. And yeah, it's only a couple more yards he gains, but it's the effort that you consistently see once he gets the ball in his hands. Like, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look like a play that you'd be able to continue after that contact, but he does. He keeps his hands up, right? Braces himself against the ground. Elbow doesn't go down. Forearm doesn't go down. Knee doesn't go down. and he's not down by contact. And then he continues forward for an extra couple yards there. It's just super impressive because you see it so much in his film. So here's another way that Matt LaFleur is going to be able to implement Savion. Here he is in the backfield, kind of as a H-back roll out of the shotgun here. And this could create a ton of mismatches. Out of this role here, he might be lined up against a linebacker if they're in man coverage. And if that happens, I mean, that's going to be terrible for a defense. And he's going to run a quick motion here to a wheel route, right? So just remember this concept. Now, he runs into a cover 3 corner, but he does a good job at getting around and then getting to the sideline for his quarterback. Again, a little bit of a body catch there. Again, he's something he just needs to work on, but he has separation. He catches it. And then he still tries to get upfield. He still doesn't shy away from contact. Normally, a wide receiver would catch that, and go down or go out of bounds like the Tyler Lockett's of the NFL. But no, Savion Williams is like, I'm going to try to at least gain an extra yard, 2, whatever it may be. And he does this every single play. But just remember this concept, motioning into a wheel, which really does seem like a Matt LaFleur style of play. So now let me show you an example of this, which is just unreal. So here is the same play, right? Shotgun, Savion in the backfield as an H-back. And what's he going to do? He's going to motion pre-snap and run a wheel. We have both of these receivers coming out of their break like they're going to block. This is meant to look like a bubble screen to the left to this running back, and they have 3 blockers out here. So it's going to pull all these defenders in, and it should be a swing pass to this running back, and the quarterback's going to pump, and then hopefully Savion's breaks loose wide open over the top. That doesn't happen here. The defenders play it very lax, and you probably should have just threw the swing pass here. But the quarterback, and there's not great quarterback play at TCU this past season, just lofts it up and says, yeah, F it. Savion's down there somewhere, right? Watch this. This is absolutely insane. I'm just going to let it run. This contested catch in the back of the end zone against 2 defenders just absolutely bodies them. This is the throw that shouldn't have happened. But again, I look at the high point of that football. Just shows the contested catch ability. What was it? 88.9% we saw this past season. It's unreal because he'll go up and make catches like this every other game and then drop a quick curl. Like, it's actually insane, but he can make plays like this. Here's another angle of that. Again, Savion in the backfield, motion, fake swing pass the left, pump. Quarterback's like, I'm getting pressured. I'm just going to loft up to my guy Savion on the outside. He's double covered, but hopefully he can make a play, and make a play he does. Making an absurd contested catch there over 2 defenders for a touchdown. And like I was saying, he'll make plays like that, and then the next drive, drop an easy one. Here he is against press coverage, and he does an excellent job releasing off the line of scrimmage and creating separation on a quick curl route. You'll see it here, right? A little stutter to the outside, break inside, completely move that cornerback off his base to the outside, snap down, come back towards the football there, and simply just drops it, taps the thing up even. Could have been an interception. Not only do you not want to drop the football, you definitely don't want to double drop it and just tap it, volleyball it up in the air. That's how you end up with interceptions. Luckily, that didn't happen on this play, but that's kind of my point. He has a drop issue. We're not denying that. He's got to clean that up, but he will make complete crazy plays the drive before and then come out here and drop a curl like that. That can be fixed, and I think it will be with the Packers. Here's the last clip I have. It's going to be a simple post route by Savion. One thing is he doesn't have a crazy route tree out of TCU. Really, all I saw him running was either 9 route, a comeback, a deep stop, post route, dig route. There's nothing too crazy in this TCU offense. A lot of RPOs, a lot of quick hitters. And one thing that is good is he's our second receiver drafted. We have a ton of guys ahead of him. He's not going to have to come out here and be a traditional, full-time starting wide receiver that has the full route tree down day one. The Packers are just going to be able to implement him in ways that he does very well. And here's one of them, a post route 1v1. And he runs this perfectly by the book. This cornerback is inside shade. He doesn't want you to run to the inside. And the ways you can beat this is first attack the leverage of the cornerback, right? And then give a rocker step. And he completely cooks this cornerback on that rocker step. It's a poor pass, but he does a great job contorting his body back to the outside. And that's what I'm saying. He'll make crazy circus catches like that, but then drop a quick curl route. And he absolutely cooks this cornerback on this rocker step, who's playing inside shade, have you. So he's told to not allow a post. And what does he allow? A post, because Savion does a great job selling that rocker. Let me try to pause it at the right moment here. Right there, right? A little bit before that. His hips, his shoulders, his head is all showing outside. Like, I'm going to run a corner route here. So what does that do to the cornerback? The same thing. Completely throws him off his base. Look where his hips, his shoulders are pointing to the outside, meaning Savion wide open in the middle for a touchdown. Quickly wanted to chime in again because I almost forgot this clip. No camera. I'm just going to record this with the mic here, but I have to show it to you guys. Firstly, Savion Williams on the outside completely moves this cornerback off his base, runs a nice deep curl route, good snap down at the top of the route, gets the catch, right? Catches the ball, has two defenders in his face, and instantly gets around them. And here he turns on the jets and his yak ability. Just wait for it. Just wait for it, guys. I mean, come on. Come on. There is no reason a receiver that's 6'4", 222 should be able to do this. Absolutely zero reason. And man, it's so exciting. It is so exciting what we could potentially get with Savion Williams. I just feel like I needed to add this clip because it's just like how it just looks, superhuman. Like, it looks superhuman here. It's actually insane. So that is all the film I have for Savion Williams, Packers' third round draft selection in the 2025 draft, the second wide receiver drafted in this draft class. Again, I think it was a complete luxury pick, and I'm very excited about it because of what Matt LaFleurs is going to be able to do with Savion. Maybe Jayden Reed will still get some backfield work, but I think they're primarily going to focus on him being the slot wide receiver, the guy that Jordan Love can trust on third downs. And now Savion's going to take over as that gadget guy because, again, you can see why you would want that, why you would want him to be the receiver or the gadget guy with the ball in his hands. Let me know your thoughts of Savion Williams down in the comments below. Let me know if you learned anything with this deep dive, and if you did like it, I really appreciate it if you clicked the like button down below. Again, comment which player out of this draft class you'd like me to go over next. Now we finished Matthew Golden, Colin Oliver, and now Savion Williams. Really appreciate you guys coming by. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack Go.